A young man who is kind of an asshole but is also charismatic convinces a bunch of people to adore him. Does that line just describe every Timothee Chalamet movie now?
Make some noise, BD.
Oh boy, it's my favorite genre of film. It's a bloody biopic. Even better, it's specifically one about a musician who we kind of get the gist of, and we know he's, like, you know, done a lot of stuff, but we don't need to see him cheating on his girlfriend. Yeah, it's, you want to talk about, like, superhero fatigue. Why is there no, like, talk about how worn out everyone should be by now? And I feel like are. By them demanding that each Oscar ceremony features at least one of these. It's so frustrating. Most of all, why do I actually kind of like this one? A Complete Unknown stars Timothee Chalamet as Bob Dylan, a dude with some songs in his heart who's just frankly a weirdo. I mean, of course he's a weirdo. He moves to New York to meet a guy whose music he likes, who's been recently hospitalized, and while he's there he also meets Ed Norton, who's playing Pete Seeger, and he, you see, tries to take advantage of Bob by... No? Really? Okay. But then he helps him out and introduces him to a manager who then takes advantage of... No? Just... Does... Oh. But then they run into Johnny Cash, who just becomes his pen pal. Wow. Nobody tries to take advantage of him? Are we sure this is a musician's biopic? There are several things for me that sets this apart from the traditional biopic, and it's set apart from other films in a few ways as well. The casting. Ed Norton playing a just really, really nice, wholesome guy. Like, it's unbelievable, but he does it so well. It's not the kind of thing you'd see him do often. Then Boyd Holbrook, who I don't love usually in things. He disappeared. I didn't even recognize him. He disappeared into the role of Johnny Cash, and he was so good at it. He's not got a huge amount of screen time, but when he's there, you're just like, whoa. Like, he just really comes across with the kind of presence you would think he would have. Also, Timothee Chalamet is incredible, but we've come to expect that from these kind of biopics. The thing that sets it apart for me most of all is the choice of story, because it doesn't bother with his childhood, mostly because Bob himself doesn't really seem to bother with his childhood or care about it or want to share it, and that's fine. It just focuses on a 4-year period from kind of 61 to 65, which means A, it gets to be a 1960s film. It gets to just immerse itself in that time and be that. When biopics are kind of like, oh yeah, here it's the 70s now, bang, 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 70s stuff. And now it's the 80s, bang, 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 80s stuff. Like, it's a pet peeve of mine. I've got several pet peeves with biopics, and this manages to avoid most of them, which explains partially why I like it more than others, but also, I don't know, it just, so far, is really sticking with me. I am struggling slightly because although there are differences, there are also a lot of similarities between this and other biopics, and I don't quite get why this isn't annoying me in the same way. Like, it has just stayed with me. I'm fascinated by the music, which I wouldn't normally listen to, but I don't know, seeing Timothee Chalamet performing some of these songs, it really hit hard for me. And I think there's just something about it that was just so electric and so watchable. My eyes were really glued to the screen, and even though it was an over 2-hour film. And I liked that it did kind of explore who he was at that time, because when you try to show a person through every stage of their life, it is like you're showing a bunch of different people. You know, your personality changes fully every, like, 7 years or whatever people say. I feel like the introduction was great. I feel like the finale was really great. I really loved it. I really loved both of those. And that's just, I don't know, it makes it feel like a complete film, a complete story, instead of just some window into his life for a little bit of time, which is easily something it could have ended up feeling like. So I'm really happy with it. I'm way happier than I even know how to express or why I'm this happy with it, but I've really enjoyed it a lot, and I'm looking forward to rewatching it and seeing if it actually kind of holds up to the expectations I almost have for it in my head now. So I'm giving Listen Al Gay for Johnny Cash 4 stars. Like, he's only ever shown with women in the film. I don't know if Bob Dylan's ever, come out as anything else. But Timothee Chalamet played it as he was kind of turned on by Johnny Cash every time he saw him. Like, definitely at least a little bit, a lot bit, yeah. Subscribe for more hard truths.